slowly. So I'm here to express solidarity and tell you about my problems when I was the writer in residence at the Level 2 gallery around the corner. So I did one show there with the curator working as a writer in residence, and then when I did the next, the curator didn't like me. So I had to get my union involved to maintain my contract. Fortunately, I had insisted that they gave me a contract, which they seemed surprised by. So that was my experience, work with the union, solidarity, and you'll get what you want in the end, and we will win. I also just wanted to make a general observation about how the Tate really isn't thinking through what it's doing. Now is not the time to shed jobs, for the very obvious reason the art world is changing. So they don't know how they might have to change their operations, so they don't know which jobs they need and which jobs they don't. I mean, very obviously, it looks unlikely that they'll continue doing the kind of blockbuster exhibitions that they've been doing until now. And it doesn't look like we're going to have the kind of biennial culture that we've had until now. And we've had Francis Morris going on Radio 4 and talking about how the Tate is going to have to become more local. Well, we're the locals, aren't we? And we're not going to be impressed if they sack the locals. So this is what we need. We need them to keep your jobs and to think about what they're doing and to see what the future is before they think about making any changes. And also, we can see there's not a lot of joined up thinking going on in the arts in London, because you can walk across the Millennial Bridge and you're in the City of London, who have massive arts projects underway. They're planning to relocate the Museum of London into the old Smithfield Market, which is a massively expensive project. They're planning to demolish the Museum of London building and replace it with a centre for music. Now, why the hell is all this money being spent on arts in London and yet your jobs are on the line? It's insane. So what we need is some joined up thinking here, and what we need to do is win. And I was going to tell you a little historical stuff, because if you go across the Millennial Bridge again, you're in Queenhithe, which is one of the ancient wards of the City of London, and which is where London was refounded by the Saxons after it had been abandoned, the Roman town, for hundreds of years. And in Queenhithe you've got the Painters' Hall, and the Worshipful Company of Painters Stainers had a monopoly on portrait painting in the Tudor era, but eventually the Royal Academy took over from them and they kind of changed what they did and went more into decoration. So the Tate needs to think about these things and think about how things changes and not just make changes without thinking them through. So I fully support you. We will win. Solidarity forever.
And then so short. We'll hang around for a little while longer, I think.